YouTube? Onedo here, back from Onedo's Thoughts. I hope everyone is having an awesome day today. So we're going to be talking about Andrew Tate today. Now, this is a name that I'm sure a lot of people are very familiar with. I've heard a lot of his content, and I've always felt some type of way about even anything he has to say. Just the way he presents his points, what he says, the mannerisms, the demeanor. A lot of times when people talk, it's not just to listen to the actual words coming out of their mouth. You have to learn to read in between lines and learn to really listen to what people are telling you. And there's just something very off about him. But I never cared enough to want to make a whole video about it because there's just too many frauds and imposters. Like, I don't have time to pick on every single one. Even though he was on my mind because he's kind of like a prominent one, especially nowadays. But the reason I do want to pick on this is because I'm reacting to a video that Abba and Preach did. I want to use this video because I love how they combine so many different compilation videos and clips of what Andrew Tate has said throughout his YouTube career, basically, that pretty much just criminalizes him. And I love it because it highlights a lot of what I have felt about him, but just never cared to make a video. But yet I'm always amazed, like, how do people not see this? How have people propelled him to the top as this guru for young men to follow, when every time you hear him speak, like, yo, read in between the lines. Like, we live in this society today where a lot of people are sent right now. A lot of people are handpicked by the media, and they know who they want to represent or who they want to be represented in the media. They know they know the puppets they want to come out and have large platforms, especially in today's time. It's always been like that, but in today's time, primarily, they really are serious about it. And Andrew Tate, to me, is one of those people that's 100% a plant, a plug, whatever word you want to call it, but he's 100% not legit. Not legit. And I'm not coming from the perspective from where, like, a lot of women don't agree with him. There's a lot of women who disagree with him because of his talking points, because of they feel he's misogynistic or he's against women and this and that. That's not really why I disagree with him. Like, that's really not. My issue with him is it's when it comes to the authenticity of who he is. His words don't match his actions. His demeanor doesn't match what he says. A lot of what he says is true. A lot of what he says is relatable. Let me put it that way. A lot of what he says is relatable. It just can't come out of his mouth. It just can't come from him. Like, I have a problem with people like him trying to teach or be an example to not young black boys, just to young men, when this is his character. And yet the world totally, like, ignored it and just still chose to make him. But enough chit chat. Let's get into the video.
I'm not particularly impressed by what he's done.
I get called a pimp a lot, but and the reason I use the term is because I don't see it as a negative term. I see it as positively inspirational and motivating person.
Nah.
That's what he did. That's what he did.
Nah. Pimps, electronic and otherwise, are the lowest form of life.
My MO was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. I was all about trying to get paid.
So, seems like a lot of conservatives are turning on the Tate.
Once again, if that's what you want to do as a man, I don't support that shit when you're talking about manipulating girls and manipulating women. That's the issue I have with it. B, a lot of these women that he's talking about, these were young women. They're 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds. They're young girls that he is manipulated. So that's the issue with it. It's one thing if you want to meet a bitch and she wants to go to work for you and you want to be her pimp and she wants to be your hoe, whatever, that's your business. But it's the fact that these are young girls that he is manipulating. That's number one. Number two, it's how he comes out here as someone who is worthy to teach young men how to treat women, how to respect women, when you, sir, don't even understand what that looks like. Because if you're talking about your MO is to meet girls, make them fall in love with you so you can go and use them to basically go prostitute them out on camera, let's keep going.
And the red pill in general.
What are you charged with?
That's a really good question. I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos.
They face charges which include human trafficking and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women.
OnlyFans is the best hustle in the world.
Are they accusing you of using violence or?
No. They're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl.
God. Oh God, it's giving slime ball, but not, once again, that's not even my issue. Like, I did, men do you, I guess. The issue is how he has now been picked to be the one out here on every platform. Like, he's the one to give men legitimate advice. Like, he's the one to speak on women being and acting like a bunch of hoes. Like, it's a down, like he downs women, like, oh, for doing this, but yet his life work is manipulating women and making them the exact women that he's speaking against. It's the lack of authenticity that I have always felt when I heard him speak that I just cannot vibe with. Does he make some right points when he's talking to young men, when he's claiming to give advice? Some things that come out of his mouth, yes. But it can't come from him. So it's just the hypocrisy, and Hollywood knows what they're doing. YouTube is the new Hollywood. There's lots of people on YouTube that's simply here to give false information. Because it's madness that the very women that he is responsible for creating, not that these women were already hoes and he just took one from a different pimp and made his own hoe, or she was already out here hoeing and doing webcam and he just said, hey, let me basically be your manager type element. No, I will let this video play, but he's talking about how a lot of these girls, this was like, they've never done this, they were never in this line of work. He basically coerced them into this line of work. So he is here, he has taken regular girls and coerced them and converted them into prostitution. You have turned them into hoes and prostitutes and just degraded women, but then want to turn around and get on the same YouTube platform, my God, and talk about women ain't shit and women are this and these women are loose and these women have no morals and these women have no standards, when it's like, oh my God, but you have. Let's get on with the video.
After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. So yeah, on covertape.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
Clever.
That,
Corny. What a corny ass nigga. Look at this corny ass face. Look at this corny ass face. This is a man. This is the face of a man that traffics young girls. This is the face of a man that traffics women. Miss me with all the shit. Cornball.
that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. You're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come and let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make.
Sex trafficking is one of the largest business industries right now. They say it's more than the airline industry. Keep that in mind when you hear men like this talking about going to get girls and this and that. Keep that in mind. The sex trafficking industry is larger than the airline industry, worth, I think it was 34 billion or something like that a year. A year. Not of all time, no, a year. $34 billion a year. Do you hear me, YouTube? A year. Whoo! That's savage. That's savage. That's so sad. It's like I've never been one to care too much about these kind of things, but when you hear it, you can't help but not care. Like, you can't help but care. God. Not that I've never cared about that. I don't want to put it out that way, but I've just never thought about that. This is just something you don't even grow up really hearing. You don't grow up thinking about it. Yet, it is so prominent in society that it is a bigger business than the airline industry. Everybody flies. Look how common flying is. Everybody flies. Yet, that's not even as popular as the amount of kids and girls that get trafficked. Woo!
Love me and make them work for me.
This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka.
First night that I worked for him, Andrew bought me like 5 bottles of wine. So I got completely drunk because I'd never done webcam work. So I was very, very nervous.
Like, I'm sorry, this is the same shit that they're accusing Bill Cosby of, talking about he drugs girls to take advantage. I'm sorry, you're getting girls drunk as shit. Not that you're even getting girls drunk as shit so you can just have a good time, which is like what happens in real life. Yeah, guys will get girls drunk because they want them looser. Girls will get themselves drunk so we can have a looser time, I guess. Let me not include myself, but this is just what girls do. I've had my fun. I've been young. I know how this country works. I'll put it that way. It's one thing if fun is the purpose. It's one thing if fun is the purpose and it's just for a good time. But when you are intentionally getting girls drunk, not just they're drunk and they just happen to some, no, but you are literally like a fucking creeper just watching them get drunker and drunker and drunker and drunker so you can wait for your moment to strike. When you see she's totally inebriated, then you put her to work. Dude, that's a fucking predator.
And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well.
And over time, I just built up this big little empire of webcam girls. At one point, I had 4 locations, 75 girls working for me. I'd take around half of the money, around 50%.
You take 50%.
Around 50%.
They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity was because of taxes.
He would just pay me a flat fee of £15 an hour.
We got to the point where we had these guys falling in love with my models. Serious, big time in love, right? Sending crazy money. And they were convinced they were going to meet the chick. This is almost where I kind of felt bad. Because they're like, can we meet? I've sent you $200,000. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. I was all about trying to get paid.
It always kills me that these guys are now the advocates for men and like men suffering and all this stuff.
Yeah,
but they just made their empire of money on stealing from lonely, depressed men.
Yeah.
It just kills me. The irony is so fucking mwah. It's like, hey, lonely, pathetic man, I'm going to save you. But I also made all my money by taking advantage of you. It's just so beautiful.
I'm gonna set it up so that I'm gonna create this thing with these girls.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take your money. Then I'm gonna turn around and take your money by making you hate these girls.
Yeah. It is crazy. Like when you put it in a holistic, you're right.
You double dipped. You double dipped.
Yo.
And
That's
it's the
facts.
man saying, yo, I've been preacher, Simps, and this and that, and rooting for this motherfucker. You got double dipped.
Yeah, because now he's going on conservative outlets like also talking about how bad prawn is. And I'm like, bro, you made all of your fortune
From it.
All the
Right.
time.
Why are you sitting here acting different?
Yeah.
You're in the webcam business.
Like my...
Right. That's the part that I got the issue. I don't care what you do, but you got to walk 10 toes in this world in what you do. You don't get to come up in life that way, but then now that you're known, you want to come totally have a false stance, like you're against women who do these things. Oh, he sits there like he's this Muslim conservative, and I don't understand why women just don't know how to follow lead, and why women just don't know how to act conservative, and they always want to be out here and hoes and whores, and like that's his mantra. It's speaking against women like that, but you create women like that. Yo, it's the audacity for me, man.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp. Pimp in that sense.
You're saying I never did those things, but you said that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, even I haven't seen some of these videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, do I
Right?
think this dude did some trafficking? Absolutely, I believe
Facts.
it. I mean, based off what he said himself, that's why I believe it.
Facts.
Here's the thing, I don't believe somebody can run an empire with 75 different women, all of these different locations, bottom bitches, all these enforcers, and there was never no violence. From what I saw from them
Yeah.
WhatsApp messages, there were clearly threats of violence and clearly a bunch of women who didn't want to be there. So I'm just saying, what I've seen, it doesn't make me believe that this dude was kosher and kind. No, he even tells himself, I use sex to manipulate them. I was basically coercing them, lying to them about how much they get paid and stealing their money. This dude did everything shady under the sun, admits to it on his own videos by self-snitching, and now wants to claim like, I did nothing wrong, I'm a great person. Maybe you are a much better man today, but the shit that you did in the past is still there.
Were there any other instances?
Facts. Like, I just don't know. How did he come to the role that he plays in society now? That's the part for me. Sheesh.
Was physical abuse?
I saw him smack girls with a belt.
I've seen this one.
Yeah.
This is the one that I didn't believe because the girl came on camera and said it was just BDSM stuff. Listen, if she said it, then I'm going to just let that go and move it by their wayside. I wouldn't call this against him personally.
I'm not particularly, what would you say, impressed by what he's done on the sex business front. It seems to me a bit on the pimpy side, let's say.
I get called a pimp a lot, but and the reason I use the term is because I don't see it as a negative term. I see it as positively inspirational and motivating person.
I am positively impossible.
That's
what he did. That's what he did.
Nah.
That's what he did.
Nah.
P-I-M.
No, I heard what he did.
You're not accepting?
Nah.
You're not?
Nah. That is maybe the most cringe fucking shit.
Facts.
Nah. It's like when them girls talk about crystals and
That's
fucking
so corny.
astrology. That's on that level of cringe. Oh.
No, it's the bitch. The bitch. I'm a bitch. Babe in total control of herself.
Yeah!
That's it.
That's an L, bro. Fresh. My man's 28 going on 80, and I don't want that to be you guys. And that's why today's sponsor, TV is coming in to
These
say
guys
that
hella petty
I get
for this
compliments
ad.
on my skin all the time. People be asking,
They
"What's your
put fresh
skincare
in the
routine?
beginning
How do
of
you
it.
get your
That was
skin?"
so
For a lot
funny.
of fellas talking
All
about
right,
skincare.
let's get back.
Compared to this morning,
In person.
They're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates,
try to
sleep with
backtrack.
her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
That's
that's
exactly what
no,
you said
that's-
on your
that's-
website.
No, I've never said that.
Nah, bro. If you got that on your website, you try to pretend like you don't own the website afterwards.
It's
Did he say that? He said, I don't remember. It's on my website. But he advertises the website afterwards. It's just so crazy the way he's trying to switch around. And I understand because legally his life is on the line. So he wants to disassociate himself with a lot of his past, right? He's made his money from the sex trade. He's exploited these people. Now he wants to walk away scot-free with his money, which I
Facts.
understand.
Fuck
Any
yeah.
good criminal who's made a lot of money would want to be able to do that. But if you're being honest,
Shit.
this man did that shit.
It's
And he
different.
said that stuff. And it's okay.
I don't even mind criminal activity, dude. It's a matter of how you. It's like, nah, that's different. That's a different kind of criminal activity, man. That's so nah.
You gotta own it.
Tips on
You do all that bad shit, and then you want to come around and now act like you're the guru, and you don't understand women who act like this, and shame on women that do this behavior. And you young men have to listen to me because I am the like what?
Daughters so they don't end up 304s, prostitutes, on the pole, OnlyFans, etc. Most men I know don't have daughters for these reasons. I'll chime in very quickly and I'll say, one, I have recruited, I think, although you've worked with a lot, more girls into, I guess, the adult entertainment industry than anyone else. I really have. And the one type of girl I couldn't recruit were girls with rich parents. Oh, do that for money. I don't need money. My family's rich. So when I see these broke boys on Twitter and on Instagram be like, oh, my daughter, I'm raising her right, and she's like 9 years old, but he like works some crappy job. He's a wagey. I'm like, she's gonna get that Louis Vuitton purse one way or another. So you might want to level up your game and buy it for her, my G.
So since that video's gone viral,
These guys are so corny. Oh my God. These guys are so corny. Man. You're so corny. There's nothing cornier than seeing a corny ass dude who thinks he's not corny, who thinks he's like the big shit. He's sitting there with his cigar. Cornballs. You better buy. She's gonna get that Louis Vuitton purse one way or another, so you better level up. Like what?
Bunch of people seeing this video now and have some things to say. One of them being even Jordan Peterson, who came out. He was not holding back. Let me pull this shit up. In response to Andrew Tate in the recent video, he says, "Pimps, electronic and otherwise, are the lowest form of life." And people were like, no. I mean, you're not far off the truth. Listen, I don't know when this happened, or maybe this is a recent thing, but people are romanticizing pimping like it's a cool thing. No. Pimps and what they do to these women is rarely good, and very few of these women come back from that life. A lot of them fall completely by the wayside to addiction, or they end up dying shorter lives by becoming street prostitutes afterwards. But it's hard to come back from being in those kinds of situations. They destroy human life. So if anybody want to sit here talking about how pimps are, no, don't even try to sell me on that shit. Pimps are some of the lowest forms of life, and I'm not even mad at anybody who wants to say that. How do you feel about pimps? You a big fan?
No, I'm not a fan. No, I'm not a fan. How they were using bottom bitches and stuff like that to get other girls, and some of the girls were very impressed. And after that, what they go through and shit, yeah, no, not impressed.
Some people on the right, myself included, have always been a little skeptical of the guy and pointed out that he's literally a pimp, and that's not great. That's not very conducive to virtue. So Andrew Tate sat down with Tucker Carlson to insist that he's not really a pimp. And my friend Liz Wheeler over there juxtaposed his interview with Tucker with other things that he has said openly on camera and makes it seem as though He will enjoy this walk down the 18th.
Bloody ass.
Either Andrew Tate is suffering from a very serious bout of amnesia, or he lied to Tucker. Look, man, I never seduced women and manipulated them into working for me. That's what they're accusing me of. But isn't that so crazy? And then, as Liz points out, he's said many times publicly that this is exactly what he did. The best defense, which he sometimes makes,
like how dumb, how dumb,
that recently has been trying not to make, is that he didn't the girls, he just seduced them.
You know what's so funny about that line of thinking too is like when you were thinking about the fact that this guy would joke about them being 15, 16, but like oftentimes they were young 18, 19-year-olds. And as a grown man seducing like such young, impressionable minds to not only fall in love with you, it's like, I think it's one thing if you a grown-ass man and if you want to make these women fall in love with you, but then you want to marry them, okay. A 12-year age difference, you want to do that for your life, that's fine. But turning them into sex workers when they're that young and impressionable, me, is very slimy behavior.
Facts.
And the reason why you go for these young women is because you know they're so malleable and you can take over their minds, and then that's why you do it, right?
Yeah.
Not only because of their virtue, their youth, but also because you know they're malleable, right? So when you're using it for your own self-interest to make that, it makes it an extra level of slimy.
A predator in the jungle is not gonna go like, oh shit, that animal looks bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's gonna go from a smaller animal that looks like a prey.
No.
Then that's what I believe that's what he did. But then again, I believe that's what he did because that's what he said he did.
That's the only reason why. If he didn't put out those videos on
I wouldn't have any proof, but he said he did those things. It's like,
so
I don't have much to say. Like, he said that.
I think a lot of people don't care because it's women on the other end suffering. One.
Fucking idiot. God, I'm so happy these guys made this video. This is the first video I have seen made on Andrew Tate that is 100% like God. Like, it shows me, like, men, don't just fall for some stupid guy just because he has money. Like, I feel like that's the only reason people listen to Andrew Tate, because he shows up and he's this rich millionaire always smoking cigars. So he has that affluent look, which is what lures these young men in. And I haven't met any man that really has like just been able to like, no, this guy is faulty. Every platform, obviously I haven't seen every video, but every video I hear being made of Andrew Tate from a man, obviously you get women who, oh my God, he's so misogynistic and blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm not coming from that perspective, because I know we live in the time where women just bitch and moan because you say something about them. I don't agree with that. So my issue is not that. My issue is his lack of authenticity. It's just who the fuck he is my issue. He's a fucking slime ball. He's a slime ball and a freaking predator that has somehow manipulated his way to being the top G, like he refers to himself as. And somehow the media, the internet, everybody just showers him with these accolades, like he's really that man to be heard. Like he's really that man to be listened to. Every time he shows up, it's like just, ooh, Andrew Tate is showing up. But it's like, yo, this guy is a fucking slime ball. Like a cheap. This man is so cheap and low quality. Like, man, so cheap and so low quality. I don't care how much money you have in your bank account. If your character is garbage, my dear, you are worth nothing. That man just has money and that's it. No character, no personality. Even when you hear him talk, he's just corny as shit. All these rich nerds. Like, you just have money and that's it. No personality, no nothing. Men like that, of course, they're the ones that will traffic women because they don't know what to do with a woman. They don't know how to love a woman. They don't know how to respect a woman. They don't know how to be friends with a woman. They don't know any blessing to be gotten from a woman. So men like that will see women as strictly fucking business tools. Points of just get rich off of this bitch. They don't see no value in women whatsoever, but yet somehow he is the one that has risen to the platform of like the messiah of these topics. He's like the guru for young black boys. Nah, I keep saying young black boys, just young men. Fuck, I keep putting black in front of it. Probably because he claims to be, I think he claims to also be part black or some shit. The very white mind. Like, ugh. I love that these guys made this video. Like, it says everything I ever wanted to say about him without me having to make a whole video about him, because he just wasn't worth it for me to make a whole video, but it's worth it for me to react to. Especially when it's an actually good video that has different compilations of his clips. That's why I picked this video. So I don't want to just react into just one video that he's made. I love that they found multiple videos and compounded it into one video, and awesome. Let's go.
Two, it's women who did sex work.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people, once they see that, they instantly start judging them and say they're less than human, right? They don't give a fuck, which is fair. You want to think that way, that's your choice to think that way. But
I don't have much to say. Like, he said that.
I think a lot of people don't care because it's women on the other end suffering, one. And two, it's women who did sex work.
Yep.
And so for a lot of people, once they see that, they instantly start judging them and say they're less than human, right? They don't give a fuck, which is fair. You want to think that way, that's your choice to think that way. But I would say, how many of these women would have become that if it wasn't for this guy? He says it himself. Every girl that he hired had never done this line of work before. And they only did it because he said he made them fall in love with him. So this guy's creating the very kind of women you don't like, and then you guys are therefore shitting on them for becoming those kinds of women.
Facts.
Just saying, if you hate those women for what they do, you should hate him just as much for making them. But no, you want to praise him. Because deep down inside, I think a lot of the people who hate these sex workers also deep down inside want to be with them in different circumstances.
When the proof is, whenever they go to different podcasts, you shit on them, but then subscribe to their OnlyFans.
Yep. That's why I don't like this stuff. Me, I'm perfectly fine with conservative people who want nothing to do with sex work and nothing to do with Andrew Tate. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do based off the consistency of your morals. But people who shit on these sex workers, but also prop up the kind of man who made them.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't get that, in my personal opinion.
Exactly.
And I think it's good that conservatives are distancing themselves from them, because they just look like clowns when they want to talk about, oh, abortion's bad, sex work is bad, this and that. But then at this time, like, the person that they're hailing as a hero is a fucking self-admitted pimp. Really?
Exactly.
That's who? Someone who manipulates, scams.
Right.
I think it's a bit weird to have those two things juxtaposed. But that's just my opinion. Anything else?
positively impacting, manipulating people, or whatever it is.
I don't know who's the actress.
Positively impacting.
He did something.
He be sounding
You really
cheesy.
thought he
As the most influential man in the world in my Bugatti. It's like, okay, bro, how many times are you gonna repeat you're the most influential man in the world? After the 100th time, every interview.
When the police.
Facts. Every interview, that stupid man can't wait to talk about how influential he is, and I'm the sing with his stupid cigar in his hand. Like, these guys are so corny, man. Anyways, I think that was like the end of the video. I think I kind of want to end it right there. Yeah, this is after this ad. So anyways, you guys, I hope I shed a little bit of light. If you guys haven't checked out, like, I'm sure a lot of you know about Abba and Preach's channel because they are super popular on YouTube. Go check out a lot of their other videos. They make really kind of fun, interesting content. So definitely check it out. I love that they made this video. It's just the best way to sum up that man in one perfect video without having to just go all over YouTube. So I love that they made this video. All right, you guys, Onedo here. Make sure you guys like the channel, like the video, like the channel too. So you subscribe to it from liking it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let's keep it going, you guys. Much love. Peace.